Well, I got the opportunity to start this off, so there's a couple of things I never got, especially since I came to jail, was like wanted pictures. You know what I mean? They seem like they shouldn't even make sense. Why didn't they just keep them when they took the picture? Yeah. Oh, and Coca-Cola? You know they used to put real cocaine in Coca-Cola? You know, you can still do it, there's nothing stopping you, but could you imagine what 7-Eleven or Plaid Pantry would look like? You see the prom queen out there hustling, everybody's out of gas. The stud at high schools out there, tents everywhere. Hey, picture this, it's like 4 rats. They in this bar taking straight shots, so they go. The first rat takes his shot, busts his glass against the wall like I'm the baddest rat in here. You know rat traps? I lift weights with those. So the second rat grabs his drink, drinks it, breaks it on the wall, and say, I'm the baddest rat. You know decon? I snorts that. So the third rat picks his up, drinks it, say, I'm the baddest rat. You know poison pellets? I take those when I get headaches. So the fourth rat picks his up, downs it, sets it down, and is heading for the door. So the other rat's like, hey man, where you going? He said, I gotta get home, the cat's having my baby. Yeah, that's a bad rat. Hey, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be like a superhero. And my son, when I had him, I always wanted him to be so that's all I really bought him, like Batman. So when I was little, I really wanted to do it because I loved Iron Man, stuff like that. And some of the parts I could have played, like The Matrix, I could do that movie. Especially like, you know, when they asked Neo, you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? You know, I could have did that part. I'd have just took both of them. You know why? I'm addicted to pills. The end. Some of my best work. Next, you guys never gonna forget this. Straight up. Tomcat.
Thank you, Anthony. Let's give it up for Anthony, man. You know, so I'm stuck here in prison, right? And it sucks, you know. But one of the things that I really miss about being out there is animals. Yeah, you know, I had a pet cat, and I love, you know, hearing the dogs barking in the distance and that kind of thing. And so I was thinking, what would it be like if animals could talk, right? I guess I watched a little bit of the too many movies with talking animals or something. But, I mean, like, 2 dogs that live next to each other. Be like, hey, 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 Mom, Mom, Mom! What, Bob? What, Bob? What, Bob? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Wake it up! Wake it up! Napping, huh? Napping! Napping, huh? Look. Are you going to the park, man? Going to the park! Go to the park! Hope to! Hope to! And so, you know, and then I was like, you know, I had this cat, he was a real character, you know, and like, what would it be like if he talked? Because he always talked to me, you know. I was like, hey, are you hungry? Milk! 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 Oh, okay, you know. So I got the brainy idea about, you know, giving him a mouse with catnip on it. Mouse! Makes me go crazy. And I peel out and go crazy all over the place. And so, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe I could go a little bit further with this, you know? Well, what if animals, like, could do, like, you know, human type things, you know? Like, a frog, you know? He's eating an ice cream cone. Lick, lick, lick. Yum, yum. Lick, lick, chomp. Brain freeze, brain freeze, brain freeze. And then I was like, okay, yeah, that's good. Oh, there's a hippo. He's riding a roller coaster. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Barn, I broke another one. And then I was like, okay, what if they had jobs, right? There's a beaver. He was working in a lumber yard. Guy comes in and, hey man, I'd like to buy, you know, get some 2x4s. You know, and beaver's like, oh, let me see what we got. He goes in the back, you know. Oh, no, that one's got too much sap. And he picked up another one. Oh, no, tastes too much like wood. And he comes back, we're all out of 2x4s. Okay. And then I was thinking, okay, what if my GPS had the voice of a goat? Make a right turn in 100 feet. Oh man! Yeah. And then I was like, okay, you know, what if a chicken walked into McDonald's, right? I have two. So, you know, so there's something about Animal Planet or in my free time, and I go off on these tangents, and there's always animals in there. I don't know. But that's what I got tonight. I hope you people enjoyed it.
Don't even think about stealing none of that material. No way you can get away with it. Yeah, we're gonna lighten it up a little bit. Armin, let's get Armin up there.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think we can all agree we're not gonna get high with stuff on later, man. That was a lot of conspiracy stuff, way too quick. But so yeah, it's my first time down, and I guess prison's all right. I mean, if you enjoy taking shits in front of other dudes and compulsively gambling, yeah, like prison's the place for you. I mean, I did just win 3 soups off the Korean boating league, so I think things are kind of looking up right now. And you know, as long as the DC Mystics, you know, cover the spread next week, I should be good on that. But stand-up comedy in prison. It's like only in the city of Portland would stand-up comedy be part of our rehabilitation process. It's like the officials kind of sat down in an office and said, you know, all right, what's the most productive way we can reform a group of these guys? Well, I guess it would be to create more burnt-out hipsters out there. I think that's exactly what Portland needs. You know, God forbid we got our HVAC certification in the next couple weeks. You know, God forbid. So I'm Iranian American or Persian when we want to sound a little fancier, you know, because when you say Iranian, people just kind of they assume like nuclear program or hostages. But when you say you're Persian, they're just like yes, exotic rugs. Okay. Yeah, you took an L against the Spartans back in 300, but we'll forget about that in a little bit. Yeah, so my dad's Fob. He's fresh off the boat. 35 years this man's been in this country, and he just still holds on to a bunch of that old country kind of ways. You know, like he treats Safeway like it's a bazaar in Tehran. Like he won't drop any of that. Like he'll go in there and say, Excuse me, ma'am. So I want to tell you right now. So honestly, we come here. No, listen, please. We come here 3 times a week for the last 2 months, and then for 1 time a week every month after before that. So I'm trying to understand. So today you give me 5% off. I come back, give you 10% tomorrow, and the week after I get a 20% off. And then they look at him like, excuse me, sir. Like, nah, that's not working. I'll punch you up that one, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, but September 11th was difficult for my dad. He works at PDX. He works right over there. And when September 11th happens, he was just paranoid that the feds were gonna come and take him away for questioning. He sat us down for dinner and said, you know, Armand, I want you to understand that if anything happens, you are the man of the house. If they come and they take me away, you take care of your mother, your sister, you take care of everyone. I mean, he was acting so suspect. I was like, what did you have to do with this, man? I mean, for an innocent guy, you're kind of you're towing a hard line here, you know. Yeah, he's really trying to get me an arranged marriage. And on paper, it seems perfectly like a great idea. I mean, the woman he found, she's smart, you know, well-educated computer engineer, makes good money, has a, you know, rich family. Sounds like good, but just the one drawback. She is my first cousin, so I'm like, I'm teetering it, but at this point in my life, it's like I'm honestly considering it. Like, it's like, but that's all I got right now, guys. Thank you.
That was cool. That's the closest I ever been to one of those guys, too. Let's get Mark up here. Let's get Mark.
How y'all doing tonight? Having fun? I'm Mark. Average American family, poor, alcoholism, bipolar, all that good stuff. Anyway, you know, but we did manage to do some things, me and my dad. Some confusing stuff. People, you know, my dad said to me, we were out fishing one day with his friend, and we're out there on the bank, and you know, I'm like 5 or 6, and he's looking at his friend. He goes, you know, that guy would give you the shirt off his back, and you know, I'm 5 or 6. I'm taking it literally. I'm like, that shirt that has fish guts all over it, and blood and sweat. I'm like, I'm a little poor, Dad, and he seemed to drink all the money. Could we just get some money out of his wallet? Maybe some new shoes or something? You know, coming here tonight, you know, I'm walking in there, somebody goes, knock him dead. I'm like, no, I'm not knocking anybody dead. I got a date. You know, the last thing I want to hear when I'm leaving is, you really killed him tonight. No, they were breathing when I left. Put that shit on me. I'm getting out of this money. I don't know about you, Cruzank. You like this place? You glad to be here? You got problems. That's a problem. You know, but I have plenty of time to think about great stuff. Like, you know, how'd they come up with like better than poking the eye with a sharp stick? I mean, that guy had to be bored, right? He had a bad day, like his girlfriend left him or something, or you know, he goes to the park where there's a lot of sticks. There's have to be a lot of sticks. He's sitting there looking at the ground. He's thinking, man, it's a tough day. But I can't help but think if it's better than poking the eye with a sharp stick. I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, you must think like me or something. Picks it up. I hope he figured it out on the first eye, because he might be blind now. Thanks for doing that. Now everybody goes, better than poking the eye with a sharp stick. Did you try? I want to try and find out. You know. You know, and things like, you know, that guy really gets my goat. How'd that come? I'm thinking of Village, like people walking around with their goats on leashes. And, you know, Tomcat would be there because he likes animals. Bob's walking down the street with his goat, and he's like, that Tomcat's not going to get my goat today. Tomcat comes up. How you doing, Bob? Not fine, Tomcat. Gets him in the headlock, gives him a noogie back. You got my goat again. Yeah. The confusing stuff they used to tell you when you were kids, like, apple day keeps the doctor away. Like, there are a bunch of doctors out there in bushes watching me make sure I have an apple. Like, look, we're poor, man. I don't even have any food, let alone an apple now. Walk outside to kick you around. That'll learn you. Get an apple. Fast forward 20 years, prison. We get plenty of freaking apples. Where are the doctors? At least we got plenty of salt for the apples, right? and plenty of salt when they tell us to gargle salt water for every ailment we have: cold, bipolar disorder, PTSD. Yeah, we got it covered. I didn't even know there were so many different apples. Gala, Gala, Gala. I don't know. I'm an apple connoisseur. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm stubborn too. If people tell me that, I gain 100 pounds on that one. Go home at night and bake a whole cake. I call random people on the phone. Had my cake and ate it too. 100 pounds later. That's just a figure of speech. Why didn't you tell me that in the first place? Yeah, they ate 5,000 cakes. You know, I watch a lot of TV, and you know, the History Channel. You know, they had the Civil War, and then they hit World War I, World War II, all that stuff, and now they, you know, they get a little down to ancient alien stuff every time I turn it on. Stonehenge, built by man or ancient aliens, as a roadmap to, I don't know, cook a better pizza or something. I don't know, that's theory. It's supposed to be the History Channel. The Great Pyramid, man-made, or, you know, and it just gets old after a while. They're running out of stuff too. The other day I'm watching, and they zoom in on this, I don't know if you know the AMC Gremlin. It was built from about 75 to about 80. A box-looking car with a little alien gremlin on it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Gremlins, AMC, man-made or extraterrestrial life? It's a bad example on how to build cars. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think I stayed in that car a couple times before I came to prison. And look, there's a homeless guy in there. You see any ancient aliens? Do they have any beer? I'm out of here. You know, I like to see honesty in advertising. You ever seen those going out of business sales? The guys just jump up, they're so happy. They say, we're going out of business, we're closing our doors forever. Come on in, it's the prices are crazy. 10% on, you know, 90% discount. And you're like, yeah, can you just be honest? Because I wouldn't be that happy. I'd be like, look, you guys, you didn't come in and buy my crap. I'm gonna close my doors. My wife left me, my kids are gone. Don't worry about ours, I'll be sleeping there. Just give me a buy my crap now so I can get a donut or something. Guy's out there, he's got a sign with a bird, he's just turning around here, flipping near the bird. Anyway, I gotta go find my gremlin, I'm out.
That was good. Okay, we got one of the guests coming up, which is Shane. Give a good round of applause, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Keep it going for Anthony, man. Killing this shit right now. How y'all doing? Everybody good? Y'all came out and put cookies on the table and shit, making me feel good. Feel very welcome. I thought I was just gonna come out here and do some jokes. I done ate a whole damn plate of cookies over here. I feel bad too, because I was like, damn, some of the homies had to be good for a while to get these cookies. I just walked in this motherfucker like, yeah, I'm taking 3 Oreos. Watch your cookies. I'm taking. That has a whole different meaning there. I should have said that. This is cool, man. I'm glad you guys got. I don't know what the fuck this is. I mean, we walked in and it was an NFL thing, right? And I was like, all right, I get that's close to comedy, right? And then they were like, nah, you know what? We need Tinkerbell on this bitch. We need Tinkerbell for some of the dark material. Like if the jokes are too dark, you just look at that shit and feel a little bit better. And if it's too lighthearted, if you hear any more animal sounds, you just look at this right here. Look at this shit. I'm not making fun of it. That's dope. This is cool. I like it. There was nothing to drink on the table. I ate 12 cookies and I'm hurting right now. I'm surprised my wife said yes when I asked her to marry me so many years ago, because when we met, I was a young, broke, struggling comedian and a single father, you know, so it was a tough sell for me. You know what I'm saying? I had some baggage. I felt like a real estate agent trying to push like a shitty foreclosed home on someone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, I know this ain't what you were looking for, but I'm gonna get you a great deal on it, all right? All right, this property here was built in '83. Only had one previous owner. She was a bitch. Yeah, if you come this way, this is the kitchen area, right? Oftentimes referred to as the heart of any real home. As you can see, it's been completely ripped out, right? Right, just kind of left as is. More room for you to fuck around in, make it your own. That's nice. That's nice. It's weird what happened is, see, the last owner moved in and went to town trying to change everything, right? Tried to turn the house into something that it's not. And in the middle of the night, just up and moved to a bigger house that understands her. With more of a modern Puerto Rican kind of vibe to it. So that's cool. That's good for her. That's good for her. She left a few things behind, a couple tables, a couple chairs. There's a baby in the corner. But I think, relax guys, it's like they always say, one woman's trash. It's your new family, that's right, you got it, you got it. Real estate agents here. My name is Shane, you guys have been dope. Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
All right, put your hands together for Snook. Where my boy Snook at?
Hey, how's it going, you guys? How's that song, huh? It's like you're stuck in an elevator in Hawaii. Should have took the stairs. How many of you guys got kids out here, man? I got a couple. I got 3. My first one, yeah, I used to love watching them. You know, as I got older, I used to take them to the park all the time, and I'm not gonna lie, I like to get stoned, so it helps me focus more when I'm watching my kid. You know what I mean? And I'd push him on the swings, and I'd go sit on the bench, and I'd watch him go up and down, up and down. He'd be like, "Look how high I am." I'd be like, "Me too." And like, I don't know about you, but when I'm pretty stoned, I don't like to fucking talk to nobody. You know what I mean? And like, you got those parents off to the side that are like, "Oh my God, cute kid." I'm like, "Huh?" And they don't even know which one you're talking about. And they're like, "Oh, I love it when fathers take their kids out to go to the park and stuff like that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool, thanks." And I'm like, trying not to make conversation with them. And so they were talking about their kid. They were like, "Oh yeah, my kid's in gymnastics and this and that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, that's good," you know. And they go, "Well, which one is your kid?" And I look over at them. I'm like, "I haven't decided yet." I used to go to these family gatherings every week with my ex-wife and my daughter, and you know, I got her a Power Wheel, and she used to go drive it around, and her cousin always tried to race her around the little yard they had. It's not little, it's about an acre, you know what I mean? And they're racing around in circles, and he's always beating her, right? So when we went home, I was like, you know what? I'm that type of parent that tricks out, you know. I G'd up her Power Wheel. So, you know, if you don't know how to soup up a Power Wheel, all you do is you get a bigger battery. So I hopped over the neighbor's fence and stole their battery out of the rascal, and I put it inside the little Power Wheel. And, you know, I put a little sound system in it, some subs. You know those subs back in the day called bazookas, where you could hide anywhere, and they're long, skinny ones. Put that on there, and I put a little stereo in it and everything. And I never tested it out. You know, I just listened to the radio, and I was like, cool, perfect. You know what I mean? So when the next family gathering came back, you know, I was like, go ahead, baby, test it out. You know. So she gets in there, I turn on the radio for her, and it goes, boom, ba boom, ba boom, snoo! I was like, yeah, that's my girl, that's my girl. And I never tested it out, so like she pressed the power, like she pressed to go forward, and all of a sudden, plastic's flying everywhere, she's peeling out, dirt's flying in the yard. I'm like, ooh, my wife's yelling at me. She's like, what'd you do to her Power Wheel? I'm like, she looks so happy. And like right when I said that, she crashes into her cousin's little Power Wheel. I'm like, ooh, snap. And this is how I know this is my daughter, and this is why I love her so much. I've never done this before in front of her, but she took her jacket, wiped everything down, took her bottle, chucked it, and then started dipping. And my wife's like, what's she doing? I was like, oh, she's good. And then I saw her run back, and I'm like, no. And she goes back to the car, and she grabs her cookies and starts dipping out again. And I'm like, that's my girl. She's like, my wife's like, what's she doing? I'm like, well, it looks like she's, she's hiding under the trailer, it looks like. Should have messed with her, hit her with the mag light. You know what I'm saying? Traumatize her. Put your hands up. And then, you know, me and my wife traded roles after a while. She wanted to stay at home, and she wanted me to stay at home, and she wanted me to go to work, or her to go to work. And I was like, I'm cool with that. I can watch some kids. That's easy, you know what I mean? They're still young. After a while, I just turn on some cartoons. That's what I do. I veg out and watch cartoons. So my wife's like, you need to make sure they eat healthy. I'm like, yeah, perfect, no problem. She's like, I want you to go to the store to get some healthy snacks. I was like, nah, no problem, cool. So I go to Costco, and I'm going through the aisles, and I see, fortune cookies. I'm like, perfect, you know what I mean? It's a healthy snack, individually wrapped. They give you a fortune, why not? You know, so I grab those off the shelf, and I go ahead and take my daughter and put her in the car, and we go pick up my wife. And I didn't even think about it. I gave a handful of fortune cookies to my son, and a handful of fortune cookies to my daughter. And I had a couple right here too, you know. I pick up my wife, she's like, oh good, you got them fortune cookies. And I'm like, yeah, it's healthy, they're crackers, right? And she's like, did you at least take the fortunes out? I'm like, of course I did. So I look back, and I go to snack the fortunes because I didn't do that. And like my son has a fortune sticking out of his mouth, and I'm like, ooh, give me that. And I look over at my daughter, and there's no crackers or no fortunes at all. And I'm like, where's your crackers at? She goes, you know, I don't know. So I'm like, oh, all right. And I was like, look, babe, they're all right here. And I put them in the center with my pile of fortunes. And she's like, okay, good. So a couple of hours go by, and we're at the house. And she goes, babe, get over here. I'm like, what? She's like, get over here. I'm like, damn, I left the toilet seat up again, didn't I? So I go over there, and she's like, read this. And I can't see from afar. So I'm walking up, and as I get closer, I'm looking at it, and she's holding a diaper. And she goes, read this. And I look, and there's a fortune in it. It says, you'll be receiving a gift someday. And I'm like, ooh, shit. All right, that's all I got, you guys. Have a good
one. I just wanted to give you guys this little thing I wrote. It says, comedy is an expression of art with humor. Look at the Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, the Three Stooges. The way comedians was used during our trials of difficulty out of love. Many comedians use their talent to stop political tyranny, to better and equality and their wealth. Today, we value this sacrifice through remembrance as we too are living in difficult times. Comedy will always be an art and a class because it is a humorous art with reality as its backbone. So just wanted to put that out there. All right, keep it going. Ivan. Look at him, Ivan.
How's everybody doing? Good? Cool? All right. So my name's Ivan Jaramillo. In Spanish, it's Ivan Jaramillo. And if you looked at the program, you'd see that you'd read it as Ivan Jaramillo or Jerry Milo. Who the fuck knows? It's been said many different names. But so yeah, I've heard it all. Names such as Caramello or Jambalaya, Jalapeno, Geronimo, Ramirez, that's a new one. And yeah, I've also been called Caramello, like the candy bar. And so I'd hear all the time when I was growing up, sorry about that. When I was growing up, people singing that stupid song, like, stretch it out, Caramello. And I'd be like, motherfucker, I got something for you to stretch out, all right, motherfucker. No, but speaking of names, how about nicknames? So I grew up in Mexican gangs, and so we just keep it simple with naming each other, you know. So if you're not one of the 7 dwarfs from Snow White, like Dopey, Sneezy, Grumpy, Bashful, then we just put an ER at the end of the name. So you're like, Medline, guys. You guys want, go get your Dean biscuits. And so, yeah, we just keep it simple, like I said. So we just throw an ER if you're not one of the 7 dwarfs. So like you got Stomper, Stoner, Tweaker, what else? Snapper, Gambler, and so like there was this one dude that I knew. His name was Timer. He called himself Timer. I was like, Timer. I'm like, why do you call yourself Timer? And he's like, oh, it's because I was in a debate club. It's called Toastmasters, homie. And I was like, okay. Right, Timer. And so I'm like, all right, Timer, cool. And so Pops, he was like pretty hard on me about gangs. He went pretty hard on me about gang banging and stuff. And so like when I first got my first tattoo, there's this tattoo. It's 3 dots and it means my crazy life, or mi vida loca in Spanish. And so everybody gets it out in the open. And so like I was so scared of my dad, I hid it. And so I got it in between my middle fingers, so he wouldn't see it. And so like when he first found out about it, like, oh, just wait till you get home. I'm gonna cut it off. You better get it off somehow. And I was like, hey, I can't get it off. I don't know how you want me to get it off. He's like, all right, just wait. And so he's like, he's just frustrated, like, mi vida loca, or my crazy life. And you know, he's like, just talking crap to me. And like, he's like, why didn't you get 3 books instead for my studious life? I was like, no, shit. But yeah, growing up, I have a big. I grew up. You know, I got a big Mexican family, and so I got like 10 brothers and like 15 sisters, and so like clothes. Like when I got new clothes, it was hand-me-downs. You know, it was hand-me-downs from all my brothers, and so by the time I got them, it looked something like this. By the time I got them, they didn't fit me no more, so I had high waters. And the clothes didn't fit me no more, so I got made fun of all the time. And like when I did get new clothes, it was like cheap imitations. So like Adidas, the shell toes that I really, really wanted, I got this cheap imitation pair called Nucleus. And they had it was some Adidas with 4 stripes though. And like Nike shirts, instead of Nike shirts, I got shirts that were called Bikey. And like pants, if I wanted Levi's, I'd get like Lee or Bugle Boy or some shit. I don't know, but it really sucked. And like cereals, like I really, really, really wanted like the good cereals. So like being at the store, you know, I'd grab a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, or and Pops would be like, ¿Qué estás haciendo? No! He's like, what is this? And he'd pull the Honey Nut Cheerios out and take them out and he'd grab a box of Cheerios and put that in there. Like I'd grab some Frosted Flakes and he's like, ¿Qué estás haciendo? And he'd like throw those out. He's like, cornflakes, and he'd grab cornflakes, regular cornflakes. So then we'd be at home, and I'd be like, damn, I gotta eat a bowl of Cheerios. And so then he like comes up and he grabs he comes up with his little honey bear bottle and he's like, mira. He spreads it out. He's like, mira, honey Cheerios. I'm like, and so like the next day I have some frosted. I really wanted some Frosted Flakes, and so he brings some powdered sugar and he throws that on. He's like, mira, Frosted Flakes. I'm like, this is fucked up. But then like one morning I get up and I smell something good cooking. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna have some good breakfast. And so I make my way to the kitchen and I find out he's making some French toast. And I was like, French toast. And so I sit down and I was like, hell yeah, I'm getting ready for this. And he gives me a bowl of diced French toast and he's like, mira, cinnamon French toast. I was like, oh hell no. So that was pretty fucked up. But speaking of so, as you can see, I'm in prison, and I gotta live with 61, 62 guys in my unit. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard living with 62 guys, and especially, what's up with guys always wanting to tell me secrets, and they got stank-ass breath. Like, they always want to tell me a secret, even though they got some smelly-ass breath. And so, yeah, it's like, watch out, back up, you're barbecuing me, bro. It's like, but also, I'll be like in the bathroom and like I'll be using the bathroom, you know, handling my business, and then I hear people come in, damn, it smells like shit. Damn, stink, put some water on that shit. And it's like, yeah, we're in a bathroom. If you walked into a donut shop, it smelled like fucking donuts. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to say something. I think I speak for all the guys here. This goes out to Anka, Roshni, Harold, artist Michael Bernard, Stevenson Jr., Brenna, and Stevenson, that we appreciate you guys' time, your inspiration, your creativity, the patience you have with us, your friendship, but most of all, we appreciate your laughter. So thanks so much. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Where's Ben at? This is the man of the hour right here.
How you guys doing? Handshakes are always awkward for me, man. I never know what to do, right? I've been in prison 21 years next week. When I first came to prison, like, people only shook hands one way. It was just kind of like the firm shake, you know. That's how the white dudes in there shake hands now. It's super annoying if you're a germaphobe, because they're just like, hey, brother, and everywhere you go, they're trying to shake your hand. So I was super thankful when they came up with the dap. You know what I mean? Especially on the way to chow, because I could just, you know, and then it went from that to just the elbow, you know. But everybody's got a different shake. You know, the natives got a different shake. You got the slap, slide, the dap, the East Coast. My man Fly, I don't know where he's at, but he's only got 2 ways to let you shake his hand. Like, you got to do the dap, and you can't fall through like that. That's just him, right? So, and then it's messed up if you're like a Mexican gang member, right? Because when they come into the chow hall in the penitentiary, they have to dap every one of their homeboys. And there's like 12 of them, and then when they sit down and they leave, they got to do it again, right? So I've never been a big fan of touch in prison. I've never been a big fan of touch in life, to be honest with you, right? And in prison there was like 3 or 4 guys, right? And every time they touched me, it creeped me out. You know what I mean? Because like most guys will just kind of pat you on the back, you know, but these dudes will come up and they'll just put their hand on you, and they'll just leave it there. Then every now and then, they'll do this thing I call the pat drag. They'll just bring it right down here to the small of the back. They'll park it right there. Like, and I'm just like, when are you going to remove your hand from me, right? Like, they got it in the red zone, like they're going to punch it in for a touchdown or something, right? So, you know, you guys, I didn't do too well in that skit, but anybody that's ever been to prison knows that jailhouse lawyer is real. Like, you see the guy, right? Like, he's got a stack of papers, right, everywhere he goes. And that shit's real. Like, they had this paperwork up there in the penitentiary where they filed on being a sovereign state, and they believed it. Like, they fought it for like 10 years. My cellie did it one time. I'm like, listening to what you're saying. I mean, it didn't make no sense to me at all, right? So, in prison, like, I remember my first day in prison, right? Like, all I had was stories and movies, right? So I knew you had to look tough. Like, I knew that was important, right? They didn't have my size shoes in the clothing room, so I had to get 12s. And I went out to yard. And I remember the first guy looking at me was a midget. I kid you not. He was like this tall, a real midget. And he's standing there from across the yard looking at me, smiling, giving me the head nod. You know, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not what Bubba was described to me as, right? So I'm just staring him down. And he's smiling at me. He's got a skullet, you know, not a mullet. He's got no hair up here and a skullet, so I think this guy's kind of weird anyway. And he just keeps giving me the head nod, and I'm thinking, all right, this guy's a midget. If I get into it with this dude and he bites me, I'm going to have to kick him so we don't get too close, right? But he comes over, he's like, you need anything? I said, I don't need shit. You know, and here's this guy like trying to be friendly to me, right? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, what's up? But anyway, and I remember the first time I went down to the showers in the penitentiary. I'm 18 years old. I was a little older than that, but I'm a kid, right? I go down there, and there's a clothing room. You got to walk down this line, you know? And I look, and there's 40 showers all the way back with naked men in them. And standing in front of them showers is 40 naked men waiting to get into the shower. And I'm thinking, and then I look down to my right, and there's a Folgers coffee can full of grease. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm taking a bird bath the next week, right? Like for the whole week, you know? And I don't know what that grease is for. It's for your boots, right? You get work boots, you grease your boots when you go down there. I didn't know that, right? So anyway, these dudes get comfortable naked. Like, it tripped me out. You know, you got guys, and plus you got to look tough, right? So you're naked and you're like, I got that shower next, you know? And then you got them dudes that are comfortable, right? Like they come down in the shower and there's another naked dude there and they're just like talking to each other like this, you know? And I never understood how they got comfortable until I did about 10 years in prison, right? But then you got that guy over there in his underwear sitting on the bench in front of the shower scared to death. He don't even want to make eye contact with you before he gets in there, you know? It seems like everything about prison is designed to get your pants off. And you go to a visit, you come out here, like some of us might get strip shirts coming out here tonight. It's possible, probably not, but so you get strip shirts. Then I went to this doctor, right? His name was Dr. Degner. I went in there with athlete's foot one time. He said, all right, go ahead and take your pants off. And I'm like, for what reason? You know what I mean? I never understood it. But I'm afraid when I get out of here, right, like I'm going to go to the park with my shorts and just get undressed and get arrested thinking I'm in prison, right? But, I thought I was a pretty good criminal, you know, but one time I was, the cops were looking for me. So I parked this RX-7 on 100 and something Division, right? And I'm walking and it's like 1:30 in the morning. And I'm thinking, well, if I get pulled over and stopped right now, I'm gonna go to jail. So I thought, how can I get out of this, right? I can't hide in this backyard all night. So I thought, you know what? I'll take my pants off. And down to my boxers, pull my knee-high socks up at 1:30 in the morning, just jog down Division. I kid you not, true story. I thought, for some reason in my mind, I thought if it looked like I was jogging, I wouldn't go to jail. So I get pulled over. Cop's like, hey, what are you doing out here? I said, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm jogging. He goes, where do you live? I said, down on Killingsworth. I'm on Division. He's like, you ran all the way up here? By the way, when I lived on Killingsworth, it was a much different neighborhood, right? Like I guess they got shops and yuppies down there. We should be able to buy crack down there. But anyway, when I was in the penitentiary, they brought tours through there all the time. Legislators, students, you know what I mean? There was always a tour coming through there. And I remember I was in the laundry working in the maintenance, and my clothes were covered in grease. We had a steam leak, and I had this big-ass pipe wrench. And I'm sweating, and I come around the corner to get this steam leak, and I walk right into a group of legislators that are in there for a tour. I'm pouring sweat, and I got a pipe wrench, and I'm moving. It parted like the Red Sea. And I remember my friend Chico and I were like, you know what, let's do that every time there's a tour. So he would grab a cheater bar and I would grab like a wrench or a pipe wrench and we'd just bail around the corner just to get a laugh out of it. But and tours always embarrassed me too, right? Because, you know, if there was a good looking lady in the crowd and they came by the yard, like these fools would be yelling and hollering. And it just, like I get it, we're in prison, just take a glance and look away, you know what I mean? But these guys got a little carried away with it. But when I got here, I don't know if it's a smaller prison or what the deal is, but these dudes here, there's like a few of them. They go hard in the paint, right? They're like, they double team them like Colby and Shaq on game night calling for the ball, right? And I swear, we got these MP3 players. We can buy music. It's $1.75 a song, really good deal. And like, I swear there's an app. There's an app that these guys got that I don't know about on their MP, right? Like it vibrates anytime a woman walks to the front door because these fools just appear in the hallway. Like, I don't even know where they come from, right? Like one of them used to work in here and he wore a tight-ass shirt like Gus and Ivan got on right now. And he would escort the visitors in and he'd go like this. Here's your table right here. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a trip, man. But anyways, so I got a friend that's never been to prison. That's the thing about prison that's kind of cool and kind of messed up. Since prison is now a social welfare program, it's just an option, right? They just send, used to be one kind of guy in prison, but now there's all kinds of guys. So you get to meet a lot of diverse people, right? You meet a lot of guys that really shouldn't be in prison, they're educated, you know what I mean? And not that all prisoners are uneducated, but I got educated inside. Anyway, I got a friend named Matt. He's never been to prison, and he had the means to bail out, so he bailed out, you know what I mean? And he got to wait for his trial. Most of us, if we go to prison, we're sitting in jail until we go to prison, right? So he's on the bus on his way up here. He turns himself in after he gets his sentence. And this guy on the bus goes, you knew you were coming to prison? And the guy, Matt says, yeah. And he goes, well, why didn't you pack a suitcase? He says, well, you know, I'm from Russia. I could go, but I just wanted to deal with it and get it out of the way. He's like, nah, why didn't you pack the suitcase, right? And Matt's just still kind of looking at the dude funny. He doesn't understand what he's talking about. He's like, yo, put something in the trunk. You know what I mean? Some contraband. And to his horror, somebody on the bus pulled something out of the trunk. And I'm not talking about a real trunk or a suitcase. And they rolled it up and smoked it, to his horror. And, anyways, it's crazy because that's lingo you learn in prison, you know, the trunk. But if you're one of them guys that doesn't have a lot of room in your trunk, right? And you've been up for a couple days, and maybe the key something got stuck in the keyhole of the trunk. You can't get it out, you know, and you're sitting on the toilet. You can almost reach it and touch it, but you can't remove it, right? At least that's what I've heard. Anyways, so Trump, right? The other day he comes out and he says that the reason we have a problem with racism is because people keep bringing it up, right? Like that was his argument. And I thought, well, so I'm not going to say his name again tonight, right? Because I don't really like the guy. So whenever I refer to him, I refer to him of him whom we do not speak. I thought, well, if racism is only around because we bring it up, maybe if we just don't say that guy's name, maybe he won't be in the White House. Like, or maybe if I think the food here is good, or if I just pretend it's not there and eat it, I won't starve to death, right? But anyway, if you ignore it, it goes away. But that's all I got, guys. Have a good day.
So here it is, The Platters. This is a song by The Platters, and I made a song. It's called The Great Reoffender. All right. I don't know how the levels are, so. There we go. Offending my way back to jail. My need is such, I offend too much. I'm busted and can't make my bail. Oh yes, I'm the great reoffender. I live in a cell of my own. I play the game, but to my real shame, I'm at CRCI all alone. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. The DA cut me a deal. Oh yes, I'm the great reoffender. I live in a cell of my own. I play the game, but to my real shame, I'm at CRCI. Great reoffender. I live in a cell of my own. It looks to me like I lost my trans leave. Fox 12's got me all over town. Come catch me the next time around.
Hey, can I get all the comedians up here? Everybody who did their thing, so y'all can give them a round of applause. I just want to say y'all did great, man. Every one of you guys. So it's a good time to take the picture. Good job, fellas. Good job. I ain't paying for it either. Better be free. Gotta be free. Hey, we wanna give a shout out to Justin for that poster. That's classic, baby. Classic. All right, now we can mingle and then y'all gotta get out of here. We're locked down.